Hello everybody and welcome back to my new video. Today I had the opportunity to interview Mupt and Sekurovich, the two leaders of the E3 Defini mod. They have shared a bunch of new information after I asked them a couple questions that I've collected from the community and a couple questions that I made myself. So yeah, here it is.
Hello everyone, my name is Sekurovich. I'm the leader of the upcoming mod project for Dying Light 2 Stay Human called E3 Definitive Mod. Speaking of myself, I work on the overall project management, working as a community manager, also UI designer, and recently I started working on map editing, creating prefabs, and making the user interface.
Um,
Hello everyone, I'm also the leader of Iterative Mod. My name is Mupt, and I'm working on the graphics and visuals of the mod.
so let's start with something just basic. How's the development going so far with the mod?
For me, it's absolutely going fine. It's kind of slow right now because of the school and
Yeah,
some
of course.
personal stuff people are dealing with, but it's going fine. Everyone is working on their stuff. Packy is working on the missions, Small Sausage is working on textures, and rest of us are just working.
Alright, second question. How did it feel seeing that much support come in for the mod and how much has it affected the development?
Well, we see the support that comes to our project. Really appreciate all the support that comes from this community. I should say that it's kind of amazing to see that things you do are being appreciated and being loved and supported in the community. So this is truly one of the best sides of this community. But I still think it's still a beginning of our adventure with developing the project. So a lot of people may still don't know about the project existence or not aware of the latest changes in the project. So I think later in development, a few months later, we'll get far more recognition and even more support compared to what we have right now.
Well, I didn't really expect to gain a lot of attraction from the community itself. I was like not very, let's say, I was very shocked at least. I was very shocked. I actually like tried to I got Seko to do boost ceiling since I really cared about like he was having problems. He was having financial problems, and I said to him, "You should make a boost ceiling. We this project alone can make some little money, and so you can get some of the financial problems solved."
Like in the future, it will of course grow even more than it is now.
Yes, yes, of course,
Yeah.
obviously.
And speaking of the future, like as Mob said, originally the boost was created just because we were in a really, really bad state, financial
Yeah,
state.
Yeah.
Yeah, but later we got a good feedback coming from the community, and we got a lot of support, a lot of financial support, because people who have been buying the
Kernel.
highest subscription tier on our Boosty called the Kernel. It provides you like the early access each month, and just grants you with a general access to a lot of private materials like a chat with us, uh, developer chat, supported chat, plus basic access to Boosty. Plus, the name will be mentioned in the game. We're planning on making a huge board on which we want each name of who supported the mod higher than the survivor subscription tier to be included there. So uh, after we realized that there's so much money coming to us, we decided that it's time to collect the budget for the project. And after that, we realized the potential of the mod. And this potential can be fulfilled by ordering a lot of outsourced stuff. We're planning on expanding the map itself, and of course, we need more meshes, we need more textures
Yeah.
for it, more assets in general. Yeah,
yeah.
and of course, we need more meshes, which would also recreate their appearance from 2019. So we also need in the future. We also have some small plans about some voice acting. So I think thanks to Booster, we can fulfill our wishes, which are related to the future features of the mod.
Alright, so basically, if they donate to the Boosty, they're directly supporting you guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Alright.
the Boosty just cuts a small percent, like I think it's 10% or 20. I don't remember. Of course, the direct transfer to my bank account would be way better, but unfortunately, it's impossible. Yeah, and we have to pay fees for each transaction.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Okay.
this way, all the money coming to us, and this helps us to improve the mod because
Yeah.
it's not just a way to pay for some assets, it's also a way to rise our motivation because we actually see all the support and we love it.
Yeah, I would like to add to that what Sekurovich said. This boosted thing made us develop more. The mod was in a bad state, like in December and
Mm.
January. It was a very in bad state, but the boosted thing alone made us work harder.
Yeah, that's true.
And motivated you, of course, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, the
Alright.
motivation is the key, you know.
So this question comes from a community member of one of the servers where I asked the question. Um, they asked, will they make use of custom audio input?
I'll answer this question like
yeah. Go
since
on.
I'm the guy who's responsible for technical
Yeah.
part as well, like
Yeah, of course.
scripting plus game mechanics, audio, and other stuff. I can definitely say yes, we will use it. Not just to return some old sounds, but also to replace some voice lines.
He also asked, how much will they do with the custom rig mesh import now that it's possible?
You asked him that
Well,
too,
if
Sekurovich.
he's asking about like the boundary, like the bar which we can reach with this custom rig mesh import, I think for now it's kind of limited
Mm-hmm.
because it's really a technical thing uh, because for now we're not doing it the way how Techland would like us to do. It's not the way how Techland did it. We're doing a lot of shenanigans with files, a lot of hex editing as well,
Oh,
plus and it's all really complex. So unfortunately, we can't import some of the rigged meshes we want to import, and we can import just some of them. And a good example of good imported meshes are like the 2019 biomarker, the grappling hook on the belt, the a lot of PK pods,
yeah.
and additional NPC meshes.
I've seen some of the work you have shared in the Discord server. I will also include it in this video. You have done some changes to the PK helmets, right?
Yeah. Uh, until the moment we imported all those new meshes, we were kind of restricted with an amount of meshes we were provided by Techland,
Mm-hmm,
with
yeah.
the in-game resources.
Yeah.
So we had to use a lot of placeholder things. But these days are coming to an end, and we can actually use an accurate meshes that were in all the builds. But a huge thing to mention, we still don't have some of the meshes. So we're still gonna use placeholders, but we'll see because, as I said, 3D artists will be hired. So I think
Yeah.
they will be able to
That would be
deal
a
with
huge help.
uh, deal with it and help us to recreate some of the meshes.
This is something regards to story. How much of the story do you plan to change, and will there be new quests added?
Well, we have a general development pipeline, and yes, quest editing and new quests are included in that pipeline. The only question is, can we actually execute it with the current tools we have?
Mm-hmm.
Because the current tool set is kind of limited, and we're not allowed to add any new or change existing quests the way as we want. Uh, Quest editing is very limited. It's basically like the same hex editing as changing like models and such. It's kind of hard, and it's almost impossible for now to edit quests. But modding has been evolving a lot since
Oh
launch,
yes.
and a lot of new features being discovered like each month, I think, each few
Mm.
months. So I think at some point it will be possible, and we will be able to execute our plans regarding the new quests and changes in the storyline.
Of course, modding has been hitting some crazy milestones this past month or two. So this is regarding the map. Now that you have reached your goal, and map editing is finally possible, will we see some bigger cut regions coming back, or will it be just map changes to the map we have right now?
For now, we want to accomplish our primary goal is to fix and change the locations we saw in the trailer. So like only existing areas will be changed. But if we will succeed, and we're still doing a lot of tests regarding it, what we can do, what we can't do, we're still checking. But if we will succeed with executing the primary goal, we'll also try to recreate the cut regions. But it will be really long journey, because one thing is when you change the already existing city, is and it completely different when you creating a huge chunk of the map which is supposed to be a city.
Yeah.
So it will be like just creating a completely new custom map.
In the future, will we see like custom weapons and custom weapon mods, just like we saw on the military machete back in the ET 2019 gameplay trailer?
uh, I have actually two uh, answers to this
Oh,
question, because you asked about the new weapons, and also about mods. Okay,
yeah.
regarding the weapons, yes, we plan on expanding the uh, weapon arsenal, because, for example, we are not okay with the fact that there's just one spear model in the game, spear
Yeah.
mesh. Yeah, which being used by PKs, by bandits, by renegades, by anyone. We're also planning on introducing like handcrafted spears,
Mm.
uh, because in the older concept arts we actually saw them, but unfortunately they never made it into the game. We ended up with just usual spears, with classic
Yeah.
medieval ones. Not gonna say they're bad, but when the characters, when the AI is using one exact same uh, spear, you're getting used to it, and it's getting annoyed. Also, we have already some concept arts of unimplemented weapons, so we also expect them to be implemented by ourselves and the help of 3D artists.
Alright.
Uh, Talking about mods, it's a really, really interesting topic, because we basically don't know how to make it work properly. The thing is, Techland didn't know how to make it work properly by themselves. And what I mean by saying like we don't know how to do it properly, thing is, the weapon mod you saw in the trailer uh, was like a proof of concept,
Hmm.
and
So,
they never implemented any weapon like that except the one you saw in the trailer. So we had a shock mod applied to a shock impact mod applied to the machete, and that was the only mod
in the entire
implemented
game.
like that. Yeah, we also saw a concept art of other mod variations, but they were never implemented, uh,
Yeah.
unfortunately. Uh, and we would like to execute it by ourselves, like recreate the concept art meshes, because we're really interested in it. We want
Yeah.
to execute it and expand like the functionality of some mods for the weapons. Uh, but for
So,
now, the
yeah.
code for it is kind of broken.
Oh god, of
I
course.
did some tests. I investigated. I data mined through the engine code as much as I could. And I didn't exactly investigate for it. I had to look at hex code of it. because the code is compiled and we don't have an access to it, obviously.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of and it's basically just a guess game when you're looking through all the hex code and trying to find what you want. So I did some tests. Yes, like the it's uh, it's there's still remnants of the code responsible for the mod, like in 2019. When you uh, hitting the weapon, it's working. Like you're toggling the mod on the weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it kind of exists in the code, but it's broken,
Oh.
unfortunately.
Okay.
We've come a long way
Of
in
course.
developing it. I even assigned, I even make it implement that way. So you picking up the weapon, pulling it from your belt,
Yeah.
and by pressing the button, you can activate it anytime. The animation is being played, the sound is being played,
Damn.
but nothing happens.
So you were close.
We're close, but I don't know if we can actually fix it because without a lot of reverse engineering, and I think without writing an additional plugin for the engine,
Mm.
for the game, which would actually fix the code, which is not working.
Yeah.
I think only then it would be possible. So
Okay.
this is also why we need a good experienced programmer for these kind of tasks.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah,
Um.
but yeah, in a
Yeah.
pipeline, planned, but not executed yet.
But it's interesting to see that you have experimented with it. That's really cool.
Yeah, some of the members from the of our Discord server could already see some streams where I was testing this weapon mod, and they actually saw it by themselves that it's broken. You really don't want to see it.
Man, what isn't broken in this game?
Well,
um.
2018 features are broken, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So this is something related to the question I just asked you.
Hmm.
Will we see the shielded PK enemies coming back?
The problem with it is, yes, we want to, but I'm gonna tell you one thing. It's gonna be inaccurate to 2018 and 19. I'll explain why. Thing is,
okay.
we haven't found any remnants of shielded PK's code in the
21.
November 21 build. So, which indicates that either Techland are super strict about shielded PK, so they removed every mention of it from the code, every mention of it from the archives, which is, you know, most likely not the case, or they just didn't exist.
Mhm.
Oh,
The thing is, you saw shielded PKs. Try to remember. Try to,
I can't
remember where, and when they were used. Shielded PKs. They were used in the trailers, and that's it. We never
Yeah.
saw an actual gameplay with
An
them.
actual enemy gameplay with them, yeah.
And the reason for that is the fact that it was never an actual working
Oh my.
enemy. AI have never been developed for them. All this time, like when you saw them fighting, it was just
Animations.
anima- yeah, a pre-recorded animation for the trailer, created
Yeah.
especially for the trailer, or like the only case when they can when they can be implemented into the game properly is a behavior place. Yeah, they
Mm.
didn't exist as an enemy, but they existed as a decoration. So setting up behavior place for them with a shield would work, but you would never be able to, fight with them.
Yeah.
Shit is crazy.
But
That's a shame.
in uh, thanks to the bloody ties, Declan
Uh-huh.
were testing some different implementation of shielded weapons, or of shielded enemies. Sorry. So thanks to bloody ties, Declan were testing shielded enemies. The way how they wanted to execute
Yeah.
them, they just would check in, create different options of it. Yeah, and one of the major options was a shielded peacekeeper. You can actually see it in the I'm Legion, but it's quite broken because it doesn't have a secondary weapon. Like
Yeah.
one-handed in the right hand. It just can push you, and the animation is really broken with it.
Mm.
So you can actually see like the hand clipping or the shield acting unnatural when the peacekeeper is running. So here comes the dilemma that needs to be solved. If we want to stay accurate, should we keep keep it like this? We don't have peacekeeper shielders, or want to give it another approach and to expand upon the 2018, 2019, and 2020 build. You want to expand upon them and develop this enemy like
Yeah.
as a fully complete enemy which you can encounter in the world. But this way, you'll be inaccurate to all the builds.
Yeah.
Well,
I think most likely we'll take an approach to restore them. Yeah, we will do some tests. We will do some tests about it, and if it will work the way that we like, we don't see any technical issues with it. It works as we would like them to work.
mm-hmm.
Then it's definitely a yes. Yes, we would
Alright.
like to implement them, and yes, if they work fine, we will implement them.
Well, let's keep our thumbs up for that. So the next one is more of a personal question for me, because this is something I wanted. Uh, will we see the 2019 Metro wagon coming back? The model?
As I replied before, we will having some 3D artists, and we will actually think, should we actually restore it or should we not? So it's under the question mark for now.
Alright, alright. Well, I hope some info comes out in the future. Mupt, how was it working graphically on the mod? How much have you changed the certain weathers and the times of day and night? And how does night look? We've seen some screenshots, but how was it making the lighting for the night?
I want to start off with the night weather. So I basically sampled the night weather from 2019 trailer. The
Mm-hmm.
cinematic trailer, which was in game engine. There was one scene with the where it was night and people were trying to get under the UV light so they can be safe from the infectant. So that's where I got the night inspiration from, because there were like stars in the skybox. So I just wondered that this was probably night, how it looked like back then. So I just made it accurately, precisely. We already have the accurate skybox. We just don't have the parameters, etc. So I try to make it accurate as possible, and it's looking pretty fine right now. There's nothing to be changed.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Now about the graphical things. So basically, this weather in 2019 is like Dying Light 1. Basically, there's dawn, there's morning, there's midday, there's evening, and dusk. These are the weathers we have.
Mm-hmm.
These weathers were unfortunately changed after the development, but they're still in the game files, left in the game files, still undeleted.
So you just
Which
use them.
yeah, which
Alright.
Seko helped me, like he
Recreate.
actually showed me where are these files. So that's how we got the accurate 2019 graphics. But there's more to that. Um, we got the accurate 2019 post processing, which Myro made his own gloom post processing. He made himself, and we can use it easily to make the game look more like 2019 era. There's
Mm-hmm.
also more post processing edits I made, like radio blur, um, tone mapping, shadows, like
Mm-hmm.
all of the shadows basically, sun shadows, etc. Um, and most importantly, the the game's color grading didn't exist at all in 2019. It was all just raw colors. There were no filters, color gradients
Mm-hmm.
implemented in the game.
So basically, it was the lighting that was controlling how the game looked, not
Yeah,
color grading.
and the skybox, and the
Mm-hmm.
skybox really affected lighting, how it looked like, how it functioned, how the shadows functioned, basically.
By the way, you mentioned that you were basically done with the lighting. Is that true?
Yes, I'm
Uh,
done with the lighting. There is other stuff I can do, but very hard. Like for example, LED shadows. Right
mm-hmm.
now, the LED shadows are broken in the mod. So whenever you're looking far away, the LED shadows won't appear accurately because the the weather cycle is changed in our mod. It's not like retail weather cycle. It's
Mm-hmm.
2019 weather cycle. Since I changed the weather cycle, the the sun positions are different and the height maps don't apply to them, so the LED shadows are not working. But there's like let me guess 1 million height maps or something that I need to edit, which I need more RAM,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm not planning to do anytime because there's like 1 fucking million height maps. Holy shit! Oh yeah,
Jesus.
sorry for my inappropriate language, but
Nah, nah,
yeah,
nah. Don't worry about it.
there's like 1 million height maps to edit, so LED shadows are not being worked on
Man,
currently.
as long as it looks good and it functions,
Yeah.
that's all we need.
So there's two more things I need to do. The getting hit effect, the
Mm-hmm.
getting hit effect, when the white hit effect, that needs to be done. I'm gonna get Sekurovich's help from that. And last thing is that I wanna find the accurate Dusk skybox from 2019 trailer. Yeah,
Alright.
2019 trailer also had Dusk shown in the trailer. It's
Mm-hmm.
in when Aiden is looking over um, the people in the streets where it is dusk. So yeah,
Alright.
it's a very complex lighting. Is by the far my most biggest and the probably modding community's most biggest lighting mod ever. That's all I can say.
I think I can definitely agree. From what I've seen of the screenshots, it looks
Thank you.
amazing. How much can we expect the night to change?
Well, what can I say? Uh, we have a completely new look at night, uh, and this new concept of the night we're developing for the mod will be based on the first implementation of night from initial release from 2021. Uh, Unfortunately, a lot of people didn't like how the night mechanics were working back then. The night itself and the chase mechanic were not scary at all and were not that challenging for the player. Well, what can I say? We're gonna use it because first of all, it's accurate to 2019. It was like that in 2019 builds, which is confirmed by tutorial pictures from the game files. But we're gonna change it. So since this moment, our knight is gonna have a completely overhauled graphics and mechanics. Uh, Thanks to Mupt, the knight is gonna be reworked from graphics perspective and will look like something you saw in 2019 cinematic trailer. Uh, when we're speaking about mechanics, the knight chase mechanic will be redone uh, based on the initial release chase mechanic. Well, how it worked before Good Night, Good Luck update. Player just traverse through the city, and he spots Howler. Howler spots him too, and by screaming at the player, he starts the chase. And up until the third level of chase, only Virus was chasing the player, and just with each level, the number of chasing enemies was increased. Uh, and volatiles appeared only like the last level of threat at the night, like the biggest threat on the fourth chase level, and appeared only outside the chase in really low numbers.
All right.
So in our whole night, as I said, graphics gonna be included, and now, so we're gonna introduce a new variant of a biter. This new variant can actually howl at you, just like Screamers does. But the problem is, you will never know who is that biter who can actually start the chase. You know, he looks like the rest of the biters on the street. He doesn't have any indication as such. He can just mutate from the regular biter uh, and start the chase. A lot of Diamond 1 veterans may remember him in the first game, uh, because in the first game, we have a mechanic of mutating Nightwalkers. So the concept of the first game for zombies and night was very simple. You know, a day they're weak, they're sick, they can't do much. If you're speaking of biters, but at night the virus changes. The virus can fully take control of the body and make them stronger, faster, and more threatening. And this is the concept that was really, really scary in the first game because just a regular biter can instantly turn and start and become so strong he can actually easily kill you. Uh, and those howlers, biter howlers, uh, gonna be something similar. So they can just easily mutate from a regular biter and start the chase. Uh, Also, I'm not even speaking of the fact that we're gonna rework some balancing for the night chase because, of course, the initial chase mechanic was really, really easy for the player, especially the first few levels of the chase. Like, it wasn't that challenging for the player. Of course, we're gonna
Yeah.
rebalance it and we're gonna increase the number of AI that chases you.
All right.
And speaking of volatiles, which appears only on the fourth level of chase, I think we will improve and expand the role at night. I think we will also make them roam at night, but we will not make them like the uh, primary threat to the player.
Mm.
There will be just a random encounter with them, but they will be uh, a really rare but really strong enemy for the player.
Aside from what you've told us now about the night and about the special biter at night and the change to the volatile, would there be any other major infected changes?
Well, if you're speaking about the changes to already exist in Infected, yes, definitely. First of all, we would like to remake some of the visual
Mm-hmm.
layer of the Infected. First of all, we are preparing a really big surprise for uh, fans of the 2019 build, and we're gonna make some old concept arts of Volatile come true. So yes, that's why that's also like the reason to hire 3D artists. We're working on this, and those that volatile from the concept art that was really actually looking terrifying, uh, and it actually looks like something that
Yeah, yeah.
evolved from the Down One volatile. It's not like exact same thing, just recolored,
Mm-hmm.
but it's something. It's something that was on another evolutional step
Yeah.
and another step of evolution. So yeah, we also want to remake the model for the volatile. Obviously, all special infected textures will be redone to fit old style of infected. To make them more bloody,
Yeah.
to make more gnarls cover their skin. Make them bloody, not just glowing in the dark thing. That looks kind of weird. It doesn't even serve any gameplay purpose. So uh, we would like us to redo this. And remember, 2019 used a lot of download one meshes, uh, and all special infected in 2019 were just pure download one meshes. Like you can even if you watch the 2019 trailer in a 4K and analyze it, you'll realize that there's actually download hazmat suit guy in the scene where
Yeah.
Aiden looks down
Yeah.
the street and there's a guy running away from the crowd. There's a crowd of zombies, and there's one hazmat zombie from Downed One, and a zombie that leads the crowd. Uh, and the zombie that leads the crowd is actually a baby screamer from Downed One,
Oh
but
my
it's
god.
upscaled a lot. It's huge. Of course, it's all from the distance, and you don't see it,
Yeah.
So to the just regular viewer, it won't be seen. But when you analyze it frame by frame in the highest resolution possible, you suddenly see these things. Another
Yeah.
thing, like we saw in 2019 trailer, was a goon from Dana One also appears in the UV light scene where there's a crowd of peacekeepers, scavengers, renegades, survivors, lighted up by UV light, and there's a giant crowd of zombies surrounding them. And in that crowd, you may also see that one goon in both variations, in both just worker suit
Yeah.
and mutated variant with the skin covered in those
That's
in the
crazy.
rocky thing.
Yeah.
I just don't know the word in English, so yeah.
The armor. Let's just call it the armor.
Yeah, like the armor.
Yeah. That's actually really crazy.
Yeah. So long story short, yes, we're gonna change the visual of special infected. Voltals will get a new mesh, and others might also get some mesh changes, but mostly it will be retextures. And we would also see the possibility, like if we will like the result, we will actually implement it. And the thing I'm talking about is we're gonna bring back down one enemy meshes, and if we can restyle them to fit the Dying Light 2 world style, to
Yeah.
fit other special effects, yes, we're gonna keep them and turn them into additional variants that you may encounter in the streets.
So I've seen the concept art for the fleshy volatile that you want to introduce. So
Yeah.
the volatile will get a new mesh.
As I said before, yes, this is why we actually looking for a 3D artist.
So not a texture change, but a full on new mesh.
For now, it's gonna be just texture change.
Yeah.
But obviously, we want to remake the whole model.
That I'm
That's what we want.
I'm really excited to see the final version of it, like when the mesh gets made eventually. So, on to the next question. Will there be new factions introduced that were cut, for example, like the scavengers?
The answer to this is definitely yes. The other question is how long it will take us to implement it, and is it possible right now? Because, for example, we can't introduce a new faction without it being linked to the quest system, because it would make it really weird if the faction exists, and for example, no one's talking about it, where there's no mentions of it in the world of the game.
Yeah.
It just exists and that's it. I don't like this approach. So at this moment, like we could have done like encounters, like you may encounter this faction, then you can encounter this main faction, then you can encounter this wildcard faction, but it would look weird
Yeah.
because it would look like it doesn't belong to the game world, just because there's no info about them. Who are they? Like where did they appear from? Like I don't remember this faction. No one was talking about it.
Yeah.
What's this? Yeah, and it would feel unnatural. If we're going to introduce a faction in the mod, we need a strong connection to the quest system, because also like and introducing a new faction would also give us a great opportunity to expand on the story. because if the faction exists, well, maybe we can do some bounties for them. Maybe we can do some quests for them. So yeah, it's a great opportunity to expand faction content and faction related content like missions and such. So without quest editing, creating new faction would be really really hard. Yeah, and we even can. I can definitely say we can right now even, and we can even change survivors by scavengers, because it's going to be really easy for us. But the problem will be with, as I said, with the story. It will feel unnatural and weird. It's going to be easy because there are a lot of prefabs of, how you're assigning a windmill to survivors. They are building
Yeah.
own things, and peacekeepers building own things when you assign a windmill to them. So there are already existing scavengers outposts on the roofs,
Oh,
which we could also use. There are plenty of concept arts as well,
that's
so we could
interesting.
also use them and just replace any mention of survivors with scavengers when it comes to city alignment,
Yeah.
you know, and just replace survivors with scavengers, as I said. But as I said, the problem is story.
Yeah. All right.
Fuck the story.
The next question comes from a community member. He
Mhm.
asked, "Is restoration of the third system, as shown in E3, planned?"
Well, first system never existed. It's the thing I'm gonna say, because you know, Dying Light 2 was never planned as a survival game, so there were no hunger and no first planned at all. Uh, the thing that was beneficial for the player when he gets an access to drinkable water is an ability to replenish the energy, and replenish your health.
Health, yeah.
So it will be just small points of the map on the map where you can replenish your health.
Mm-hmm. Uh, will the chemicals on the map be changed?
Well, speaking of chemicals, we will definitely change them, but we will not remove them from the map completely. Because if you would look into one of the old developer screenshots, which was posted on Twitter, you may see a screenshot of Bandit. You may see a screenshot of Jack and Joe's Bandit camp. Uh, and this screenshot is really old, like 2018 or 2019. And in the distance, uh, right next to the camp, there are chemicals. So it just confirmed the fact that chemicals were a thing in 2018 or 19. Like, and aside of that, there were a lot of confirmation of them existing from fast perspective. There's a lot of prefabs from 2019 that have chemicals area prefab. But yeah, we're not going to remove them, but we will definitely decrease their presence on the map. And plus, we're gonna completely remake them visually.
Uh,
And plus, we're gonna change them visually. So now they will look more like a lava thing. So something that you saw in the older screenshots.
in which state do you plan to release the mod? In early access or completely finished?
Uh,
Completely finished.
can agree with it. For now, we're gonna provide like an access to early access just for the top tier
Caramel
supporters.
supporters.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
as a reward for supporting the mod. But later, when we're happy with the mod state, we're gonna say, "Hey, this mod is 1.0. You can finally
Yeah.
check it out." And later, we can provide content
Hot
updates,
fixes.
yeah, hot fixes, and maybe some major content updates. If we'll
I'll.
figure something out and maybe do something more.
Yeah.
I was about to ask that, like, will you be supporting the mod with new content or hotfixes after release? But I guess you have already answered that.
Yeah.
Something I was gonna say. This you don't have to answer because, well, it's really private. But do you, do you or your team have some kind of footage or images from that era, from that version of the game that you used
No
to make them up?
No commentary.
Alright.
Yeah, no
I mean,
comment. Fuck
All I'm
off.
gonna say, all I'm gonna say, I know what I want to know.
alright,
Yeah,
alright, that's good enough.
yeah.
Is there any important information or media that you want to share with us? So for example, when will you be releasing a trailer or something like that?
Well, for now, no, nothing to say, nothing to
Yeah,
announce.
nothing to say.
All I'm gonna say is, on the next week, uh, we're gonna have a third early access, in which
For the
will
kernels.
actually, yeah, for the kernels, obviously, which will have all the content we worked on these 3 months.
Yeah.
Alright. Well, that is some information, so I guess you have shared.
Yeah, this is all we can say for sure.
Alright. Well, thank you so much for being here and sharing this information with me and with all the viewers. I think this has been a 1 hour interview by now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just want to say thank you so much.
Yeah,
And
no problem. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank
no
you
problem,
very
of course. And yeah, that's it. And that's it. That's the interview. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And here's a little blooper to end it off. I guess that ends off our, I think, 1 hour interview that we've had.
Oh,
Thank you so much.
Please wait for the last part.
no, included it. No.
I'll probably make a bloopers or something. Thank you so much for alright, I fucked it up now.